On today's judo adventure, we're driving to the Magnolia State to visit Downtown Martial Arts Academy in Starkville, Mississippi. There, we'll get to see Sensei Doug and his amazing group of students. So come along now. As I drive through Alabama, I'm reminded of the amazing beauty of this country. So many amazing stories and culture. I decide to take a quick stop in Birmingham, Alabama for lunch and some sightseeing. Some truly amazing views from the top of the Vulcan, and a little bit of nice pizza in Homewood, Alabama. Of course, you can't forget that we're driving through SEC country. Many times I wish we had the same fan base for judo in America. Downtown Martial Art Academy is located in the heart of Starkville, Mississippi, not too far from Mississippi State University. The club has adult and kids classes with a lot of mat space.
Okay, right?
Hey, I'm Mitchell.
Take two.
What's your name?
James?
James. Nice to meet you. You said take two because I forgot to hit record again. How do you think you would describe yourself as a judoka?
Don't really know. Maybe like a competitor, somebody that has integrity, try to do that, keep pushing, been through injuries, stuff like that. So it's just good for the mind.
Now, one of the questions I've been asking people as I've been going around the country and talking to different judoka is judo a dying sport? Do you think it is dying in America?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there used to be maybe like 10 clubs like within the area right here in Mississippi, and they're all gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the clubs you are part of, Hamilton Judo, has unfortunately is no longer here, and now this is the only club in town, right?
Yep. The only club, I think the only closest one is going to be Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's like over 2 hours away.
Yeah. My last question is, with judo being a dying sport, what do you think a solution to fixing that might be?
Making it more entertaining. Like what flow grappling does with jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I think that's going to be really important. Have super fights, highest level guys, and stream it and have prizes. Money prizes. It's going to be important.
Well, we were even talking about the rise of RFA, the professional wrestling. And
that's done a lot. You see it everywhere. So
I feel like there's a story aspect to it.
Oh yeah, you get some drama to it and everything.
Yeah. I mean, even like the Ronda Rousey, Kayla Harrison, which is going on right now as we're recording this.
Yeah.
They got that feud going, and I'm sure they're best
you
friends.
You saw the Armin Surikian and Sergio.
Yeah.
That drew in a bunch of stuff.
Well, and even in other countries, the judo rivalries, when you have some of the in the weight classes, they're intense. In Europe, it's insane.
Oh yeah. Europe is growing, but America's judo's just kind of dying. Jiu-jitsu is kind of just taking over, but hopefully we can change that. You're doing a good thing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Is there anything else you would like to tell the audience or include with this interview?
Start judo. A lot of jiu-jitsu guys are afraid of judo, but if you got a good club and everybody's safe, it's a good sport. It's a really good sport. It's a bit more respectful than jiu-jitsu, so I'll do that.
I really appreciate this, and hope
good to meet you. Hope we can train again.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Mitchell. What's your name, sir?
Doug Bedsall.
Doug. Mr. Doug, nice to meet you, sir.
You too.
And so what position do you hold here at Downtown Martial Arts?
I'm the head instructor, owner of the school.
And how long have you been owning the club or operating the club here in Starkville?
I have owned this club since 2012, so that makes it 14 years almost exactly.
Wow. So what inspired you to start the club here in Starkville?
I did not exactly start the club. I started training under my instructor here in Starkville, and when he moved away to Texas, I was kind of faced with a choice. Either I took over the school and continued running it, or there would be no dojo in our city. So that was kind of the motivation. I had never actually seen myself as a business operator, but had to jump into it pretty quickly, just so that there would be some place for other people to train.
Do you regret that choice to come here and operate the club?
No, it's been, it's not easy to run a business, especially having, family obligations and another job. But I would not say I regret it at all. It's been challenging, but it's great to see people come in to be able to benefit from the same training that I've been able to benefit from. Of course, continuing to teach and train others allows me to travel, whether that's to competitions, to other training events. So while there are challenges, there's way more benefits.
Something I've been talking with different judoka about in the Southeast is the decline of judo in the United States. What do you think a solution could be to that decline if there is such a decline?
To answer the first part about whether there is such a decline, I would say it definitely feels like there is. I don't know the numbers precisely to say, how many judoka there were in their country in the 60s, 70s, and going forward. But, as you've alluded to, we definitely see it. We feel that there's fewer people doing judo now than there were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So I just don't doubt that that's the case. As for a solution of how to change course with that, get back to where we're increasing numbers instead of decreasing numbers, there's been several options that have been floated around. Some of it is getting judo into the school system, and then of course that would grow the base of judo. It may not actually grow a dojo, because those kids would be learning judo at their school. They wouldn't need to come to a specific judo facility to do it. But it would grow that base of judo. So that's one way. Another way is to look at the feasibility, the practicality of judo for law enforcement. It's definitely been evidenced that it is a useful program to teach judo to law enforcement, for them to be able to use it in their enforcement activities, but the law enforcement community has been slow to take that up.
Is that something y'all have tried, the police judo here in Starkville?
I have taught groups of police coming through. We've had dedicated law enforcement only classes. And what I have taught in those classes were judo skills. I just didn't tell them that I was teaching them judo skills. So we didn't call it judo, police judo. We didn't use one of the national brands that are out there. They were coming into my dojo. I was teaching them judo based off of the questions that they had. I would ask them, you tell me a situation you've been in that did not go as well as you had hoped it would. And let's look at solutions of how to fix it. And all those solutions came down to judo skills.
Were people encouraged by that?
I think they were encouraged by it, and the officers involved from 3 local departments did both enjoy themselves and learn practical information. But another issue, at least in our local area, is that the law enforcement community is all overworked. Everyone, they're short-staffed, they're all working overtime, and then to ask them to spend even more time dedicated to their job in the sense of training for the job is simply asking too much. We've not been able to get a large group of police out here and not be able to get them on a consistent basis just because they work so much already.
From what I'm hearing from you, it seems like judo is essentially squeezing from an already squeezed lemon. There's no juice left, and we're trying to get a little bit out of it. At least here in Starkville, what have you done to kind of help promote the club?
Sure. So COVID was interesting for us, as I'm sure it was for everyone. Our club survived, obviously. I give credit for that due to the sense of community that we had built for several years leading up to it. And so when we were forced to close our doors, people didn't abandon us. People stayed with us, continued to pay tuition when they could. We lost a few clients who unfortunately lost their own jobs and couldn't pay for anything anymore. We did everything we could do to continue to accommodate our clients. And with us pouring as much into them as we could, we barely lost anyone as a student. And so then as soon as we could open our doors again, not only did all of our previous clients come in, we were getting lots of new clients. Because at that point, kids, teenagers, and even some adults had spent a long period of time at home, locked in, on a screen, and so they were looking for opportunities to go and spend some energy and be around other people. And so we started getting a lot of new clients in. And that sense of community that we'd had before even helped feed that new group of people that were coming in. So we are now actually larger as a club than we were pre-COVID era. As far as what else we have done to help grow the club individually is we've looked at pretty much every sense of marketing you could. Currently, we're not doing any. No advertising at all, and we're still getting some clients in. So we've seen the results of that marketing continue even when the marketing itself finishes. And I would say that would be a key to any club out there, whether it's a for-profit or not, to put money into marketing when you can, and then to stay consistent with that marketing. And then even when you have to stop pushing that marketing, have that same message so that if they had seen some ad of yours 2 years ago, and then they're reminded of the same phrase, the same push, that'll just click with them and they'll make that connection and come out and see you.
Mr. Doug has done a lot for judo in the Magnolia State. His efforts both here at Downtown Martial Arts Academy and at Mississippi State University should be applauded. One thing I love about Mr. Doug is how he's raising up the next generation of judo leaders here in the Mississippi.
Here in Starkville, and just like Charleston, where I'm from, you have a pretty diverse judo community. You have college students, you have youths, you have the senior players, and even you have some veteran players. Do you think it's essential to have kind of the whole judo community?
I think it is best practice in any community to hit a diverse audience, and that's with any activity, but judo specifically. When you look at the tenets of judo, it's really looking at how to make everyone be a better person, not just better at throwing someone else, but to be a better person. And we want everyone to be a better person, whether they look like us or not, okay? So the more diverse the group, the better. I think that it's even more important when you have a fairly small town like Starkville is. So if I wanted to, say, make a high performance group and really focus on this one specific demographic of the judo community, I would have a really hard time doing that in this geographic area, just because I'm not going to have that large of a pool to gather people from. So I really need to be reaching out to as many different people, many different types of people as possible to grow this base of people. And then from that base, if I wanted to develop a high performance group, I could do that because I have the larger base to go from. When you're talking about a major city with a long history of judo and some really big clubs, maybe they could go about it without looking at the diverse population as such. But in communities like ours, the more diverse your student base, the better off you're going to be.
That makes a lot of sense. And I was actually very impressed by the diversity of the club. In fact, even the one of your students who is of the Islamic faith, with her hijab and stuff like that. And then I think just the way people, were respectful to each other. And it was just a very impressive environment because, sometimes you don't see that at some judo clubs. They're so sport focused. They're so, I've seen judo clubs not even do the bowing in at the start, which is, I'm like, all right, is this really a judo club or MMA? But yeah. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate you having me out to your club and even just sitting down and doing this interview. So thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes,
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
As previously mentioned, this is a wide judo community, so I also managed to get an interview with the Mississippi State team captain.
Hi, I'm Mitchell. What's your name?
I'm Abby.
Nice to meet you. And so, Abby, how long have you been doing judo?
Roughly 14 years.
Oh my gosh. So she's like a judo goddess is what I'm hearing right now.
I started as a 5-year-old, so I've grown up in it a lot.
Like when the little babies are in the
Yes.
doing the white
Those
gi
little
and they're
kids-
trying to do
those
like the
little kids,
Osoto.
At tournaments that you love watching, that was me.
And obviously you're a member of Downtown Martial Arts, and you're in fact an instructor as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long have you been instructing judo here at Downtown Martial Arts?
It's probably been close to 5 to 7 years. I'm not exactly sure, but I've been here a while.
Now, with your previous instructing abilities, as well as you've been doing it, you're also a member of the Mississippi State University Judo Team.
Yes.
Now, are you the team captain of it? What position do you
So right
play?
now, I'm currently the president of it. So this basically since I started college, I've been a part of the club and just kind of working with it. I've always kind of held a position. I went from vice president to president this semester, or this year, and then we'll continue into that next semester as well.
Being from the Citadel, I love college judo. And how would you describe the growth at your college club?
We've seen a lot of growth, especially this semester, this year, everything. We've had a lot of new people coming in and just getting to watch them rank up and get really good at something and start to really enjoy it and find kind of that joy out of it is really cool to watch.
That's exciting. I mean, that's always the goal of any judoka, is just to see this thing you love so much and impart it to
something that
someone else.
they don't know anything about, coming and be like, oh, what is this? I've never done any martial arts in my life, and then by the end of the semester being like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. I have my yellow belt now. It's really cool to watch.
And then also, what about retention of people as well?
Yeah, we have a pretty good group that comes consistently. We have, a couple new people every week, every 2 weeks, stuff like that. And normally they'll keep coming a few times, if not fully join the club.
What do you think has been vital to the success of the Mississippi State Judo Team?
I think a lot of it is just kind of how well we work together, and just kind of the people and the environment. Because when you come in, we're expecting people to not know anything, right? You get people from literally anywhere coming to a college and walking in the room saying hey, I saw people in funny looking uniforms that are taking really big falls and that looks really cool. And then just kind of the environment to learn and grow in that, and not being any kind of judgmental of oh, I can't take a fall on the first day. Great, neither could I. Nobody else can either. And just kind of that supportive environment of working together and learning together.
There's currently a discussion I've seen amongst a couple college teams is, do you go competition or do you go mostly club, more kind of friendly based? Where does Mississippi State fall on that kind of spectrum of competition and fun?
I think for at least where it should fall, it kind of depends on the club. So if you have members that are hey, I'm not a super competitive person, I don't really want to take really big falls in front of everybody, that's fine, great. Do it for fun. That's kind of the point of judo, is something that you enjoy. But like me, you have competitive people who are going to find the joy out of competition. So I think, especially for Bulldog Judo, if we definitely encourage competition. I do think, pretty sure in our bylaws it does say teaching you competitive judo. But another part of that is also as a self-defense. So if you do it casually, hey, if someone walks up to me, I can, position myself in the right way to protect myself. But then also we all find joy out of competing, so we're gonna encourage people to come do that, especially with a lot of local tournaments and especially the tournament in Starkville. And kind of pushing that competitive, but it's always a choice.
So kind of keeping that same direction of not competition oriented, but almost that competitiveness, but not that hyper competition Olympic level.
We're not pushing you to compete. The goal of the club is not to make competitors, it's to find people and give them a community in a college.
Well, I appreciate the interview. Is there anything else you'd like to say about either Mississippi State Judo, which will be, I'll put the Instagram down in the description below, or Judo here in Starkville, or the U.S.?
I think judo is a great opportunity that a lot of people should kind of give a chance. I think it's kind of intimidating when you see a bunch of people taking really big falls, but I do think it's a really enjoyable sport, and a lot of people kind of don't give it the chance, but I think it should be given that chance because it's really entertaining. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Abby. I appreciate it.
Let's go. Right?